All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode. I am Ferlin. We have Lane here with another interesting, looks more like a box of Scotch whiskey, I'm assuming. For those that are listening, it's a tin can. It looks like some sort of special package. You want to tell us a little bit about what you have here?
It's a holiday edition for the Ardbeg tin is what I brought in today. Now, we'll open the tin and we'll pull everything out.
And for those that are listening, it's a nice green bottle, probably to go along with more of the, I would assume, the peat.
Yes, sir.
And then it comes with two little, you don't call those shot glasses, would you?
I'm sure they are shot glasses, but we're not going to really use them for that. We're going to, they're called, the tin refers to them as shorty glasses.
Okay.
They do have a nice
beautiful green
tulip shape to them, so we will be able to smell a little bit, but they came with the tin, so why not, right?
Yes, definitely.
If we're going to showcase it, let's do it all.
So just a quick description of this bottle. It's got a beautiful A and like a Gaelic design on the top cork of it. It's a green bottle. You can see straight through it. It's got a beautiful color on the inside. The labeling, it's a dark label with white writing. Now you had called it.
This is Ardbeg 10.
Ardbeg 10. Okay, because it's a 10-year. Gotcha.
This is your entry into the Ardbeg distillery. So Ardbeg 10 is an Islay Scotch, and most, I'm pretty sure almost all Islay Scotches are peated whiskies.
Okay.
So when you go to Scotland, there's a whole lot of bog.
Bog and peat and everything.
And with the bog, you have peat moss.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got acres and acres and acres and acres and acres and acres of peat.
No trees.
No trees. So what do you use as firewood?
You've got no choice.
You use peat moss.
Yes.
So what they literally go out to these bogs and they cut out bricks, square long bricks of peat moss, and they dry them. Mm-hmm. And they use that for their firewood. Now, what that actually plays into this is we've talked a little bit about malted barley.
Right.
So the purpose of malting barley is to create as much sugar as possible. So whenever you take the barley and you start malting it, it reaches a peak where it's created the most amount of sugar, and then your plant comes out. It starts eating the sugars.
Right.
So you want it to sprout and have your peak level. Well, what do you do to keep it from continuing to germinate and flower into a plant? You have to stop the germination cycle completely. Easiest way to do that, smoke it. If you don't have wood, what do you use?
Peat.
Peat. So in Scotland, and the Isles specifically, they started peating their whiskey. And it's cold smoke, just enough to stop the peat. And it has brought so much rich flavor, heritage, tradition into this region of Scotch. There are 5 regions of Scotch in Scotland. You have a Highland, you have a Lowland, you have an Islay, you have a Space Sides, and then you also have the Islands. Now, the Islands and the Islay are not the same.
Right.
A lot of people will confuse them, but those are your 5 main regions.
Even though Islay is an island, right?
Correct. Islay is a very specific island.
All right.
Again, a lot of bog.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a lot of peat.
A lot of peat.
A lot of peat.
And a little bit of repeat.
Yeah. So that just kind of covers the basis for it. It gives you the thought process behind it. And that's actually, remember on our first episode, we talked about the barrel char, where most people think that that's where the smoky flavors come from. And that's not the case. It all comes from peating them. Not heating, peating.
Peating.
And when you peat them, it just adds so much flavor to that barley.
Right.
That whenever you distill it, it stands out so much. Now,
so as far as notes, the smell, what should we be expecting with this?
So the first thing you're going to think of whenever you drink this.
Holy cow, I can smell it from here. You just opened it.
Already, yeah. You're going to think one of 2 things. You're going to think, oh my God, that smells like a cigarette and I don't want anything to do with it. Or you're going to think rich campfire.
Yeah, it smells like a burnt fire.
It smells like you're closed the day after a campfire. So I do have the official nosing, tasting, and finish, which, again, this is top-notch. You are very experienced in drinking whiskey. This is nowhere near starting level.
Right.
This is for a more experienced
So we're
person.
venturing out on this bad boy, huh?
Yeah, it is a good whiskey. They gave me some notes on it, and I do not find all of these notes in it myself.
Right.
But again, getting past the peat is the hardest part whenever you're newer to whiskey. So on the nose, it's going to be smoky, peaty, and they say lemon, lime, dark chocolate covered fruits, citrusy, and menthol. On the taste, it's smoky, peaty, peppery, sweet toffee, cinnamon, and buttery. And the finish is smoky, peaty, and leathery.
That is a lot of levels.
Yes,
Holy cow.
this is a very complex whiskey. This is not a whiskey to start on. And if you try this and you've only had about 10 whiskeys, you're probably not going to pick it up for a very long time. Some people love it right off the get, just because they're, especially cigar smokers.
Yeah.
But
It does have a very strong smoky smell. Like
this is
it smells like you opened up a campfire.
This is not an entry level whiskey. It smells like if you put your campfire clothes in a Ziploc bag and seal it.
Yes.
Come back a week later with a fresh nose and smell it.
And you left a pack of cigarettes in it.
There you go. All right, we're gonna nose it. These little glasses are so funny.
That is so cute. Wow.
So on the nose, I do get a little bit of the menthol.
Yes.
I get the smoky and peaty, of course.
Yes.
I get, and peaty as a descriptive word. What peaty smells like? It's very earthy. It's very
earth.
dirt.
Yes. Dark
Dark.
dirt. Moist dirt is what it smells like.
You get those deep
Imagine
smells.
digging deep into the earth and moist
Anybody who's ever
black sand, moist
a
clay.
few people will get this. Anybody who's ever tilled up some land to plant
fresh
something,
soil. Yes.
that's that, and then just red moss smell mixed together. That's kind of what peat is for me. Now I do get the sweet. It's not a. It's by no means
I'm trying to pick
flat.
out the sweet. I'm trying to figure out exactly what that sweet is. I don't smell the chocolate.
No, I don't get the chocolate either. I can argue the buttery, but I
definitely don't smell lemon
It's
lime.
so subtle to me that I don't pick it out easily.
I don't smell lemon lime.
Yeah, I don't get the lemon and the lime. That's a little odd to me. I don't get and I think what they're trying to say there is citrusy,
Yeah, I can probably see that.
which I still have trouble
Maybe
finding.
like a smoked pineapple.
I tell you what, I've had smoked cinnamon pineapple, and that smells nothing like this.
I'm just trying to find. I'm reaching so hard.
Now, you being newer to whiskey, I do know that you have tried this one. This is the only whiskey I've brought in that you have tried.
Yes.
So this is one that you are coming in with a pre-palate to.
But it's been a long time since I've actually tried this. As a matter of fact, this was one of the first whiskeys, like you said, be very careful in the beginning on which whiskeys you grab, especially Scotches. This is one of the first ones that I tried in the Peat family.
Take a deep breath in.
Yes.
Let a little bit out off the top, and then smell it. And you smell that sweet.
Yes. It smells like...
Just very off the top. It's got to stay in the front of your nose. If it travels into your sinuses, it doesn't really do it justice, but you get that just little bit of sweet.
Yes. But I can't pinpoint what that sweet is.
I can kind of feel the
not caramel,
toffee, but I
vanilla.
don't get toffee. I get something similar, but it's
chocolate.
not toffee. It's not butterscotch.
No.
So, let's go in for a taste. Cheers in these weird
Sweet.
little glasses. Now, this is one that I'd never want to swallow right off the get. I always want to let it roll.
Now this...
It is so... The viscosity, the feel of it. It is so watery, so smooth.
It is very
rolls
smooth.
across you, but it's got that waxy feel. Coats the whole mouth.
Tongue's coated with like a wax.
This is one that you are supposed to add water to, and it's gonna kick your butt.
Is it?
Oh yeah, this is wonderful.
Now, as far as initial taste, the smoke is definitely there.
The butter pushes so far forward for me.
Butter comes out
Now,
really.
don't confuse
if I were
butter.
if I were to describe this, it would be if you were cooking something on the grill and your butter got smoked.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Now, for me, the butter pushes so far forward, and don't confuse butter with butterscotch. This is not a sweet butter. This is a salty, buttery butter.
Yes,
this
definitely.
is a I'm going to deep fry this whole chicken in nothing but butter.
This is
This is
watch
Southern
out.
butter.
You might end up getting.
This is heart attack
Yeah.
butter.
But it's amazing. It's in a whiskey.
I don't get pepper. I get cinnamon spicy. I don't get pepper spicy. It's more of a sweet, sharp, spicy than it is a lingering. Oh my God! I just ate a jalapeno.
Yeah, no, it's not a pepper spicy.
It's really good.
You know, I got to be honest. Just and for those that are listening, one of the things that I strongly encourage is if you see the titles in any of our future podcasts, I highly recommend you going and getting one of those bottles, and I highly recommend you doing exactly what we're doing with this. Because
It's an
I'm
adventure.
going to be very, very specific and honest about this. I have tried this before. But I've tried it originally straight out on ice. And going back to what we were talking about, how ice kind of masks certain flavors. I think what the ice did for me when I tried it on a cube of ice is I honestly think it diluted all the flavor except for the peat. And I think it took away majority of the complexity of this.
Yeah, it kind of gives you the one note
And
stand.
then that first experience, I was like, wow, this is horrible.
So when I tell people to look at a whiskey, the first 70% is alcohol. After that, you're dissecting 30% of what's left. Once you can push past the alcohol and you can really enjoy a whiskey, that's what you've got to work with. With an Isla, you don't have 30% because 15% is peat, smoke. So I have some that are more. I have a Grandstone Isla that is so peaty that I have a hard time trying to unearth any other flavors.
Right.
And it's not my favorite because of that. Now, it's by no means a bad whiskey, and it was my first Isla. Big mistake there. It's still a good whiskey, but it was way too intense. But it gives you a smaller window for dissecting.
Yeah.
We're only dissecting half past the 70%.
Right.
To get these other flavors. And it's so rich and powerful. It's really difficult. So whenever you're new to it and you can't pick out those little itty bitty flavors and those little itty bitty smells, it just doesn't do it. You can't get past the peat. You work so hard to get past the alcohol just to stump yourself on
And
the
that
peat.
was my first problem and lay with this.
So, and whenever you dull it, that peat does not dull.
No.
So-
The peat is strong, but everything else dulls, and you're
Now-
just like, ugh.
I know, I just realized we missed it. This is 92 proof, and it's about a 2.5 star, 3-star whiskey as far as price. It's $50 to $60. Now, this is a very popular whiskey, very popular distillery. There are so many people who swear up and down by Ardbeg specifically. Now, there are the big peats. You've got Ardbeg, Lefroy, Lagavulin, and I think the other one's Bunnahabhain.
Right.
And those are your big peat distilleries. And they're all, I can't say that. I have not had Bunnahabhains. But they're, from what I've had, they're all wonderful. And
Right.
people will pick one and swear by it. And any other one is trash. You get kind of
They
stuck.
create that alliance.
Yeah.
And speaking of alliance, Ardbeg, I really want to apologize because my first initial impression, like I said, I put it on ice, and it was probably watered down a little bit by the time I actually got it to enjoy it. I was like, this is horrible. And you know, I mean, as you can tell, I mean, it's completely different when you try it in a different way. The difference was it's not watered down and it's not cold. It's at room temperature.
You haven't drank it with water yet.
Well, yeah, but it's
We've
not
got it
watered
in
down.
it.
There's a difference between watered
I know.
down and with water.
But let's let it kick you in the face.
All right. I'm going to regret this.
It's so powerful. It's overbearing how peaty that is now.
Yes.
Oh, I might even have trouble. Oh, that's terrible.
This is exactly what I was talking about.
It's so...
This is not
but
one of the ones that you want to add water to.
No, that's not true. It
To
is
me.
one. This is such a powerful peat feel
man.
to it. You get so much menthol. I've got dark
I feel like I
chocolate
just smoked
flavors.
a menthol cigarette.
I got cinnamon. I've got the butter just got more prominent. It boosts the peat tenfold, but it boosts everything else. I'm getting dark fruits like plum.
I feel
You've
like I
got to
just ate
really
a-
dig for
I
it.
feel like I just ate a menthol cigarette.
Feel like I put one out on your tongue.
But this is, I mean, don't get me wrong.
It is overbearing, and if
It
you're
is
not
very strong. If you're not prepared for it,
will.
100%, it will push you away from further Scotch adventures.
I told him it's going to kick his butt, and I very much enjoy it. I have not done a whole lot.
It's not bad. The aftertaste now that I'm used to the first initial, it tones down a bit.
What I recommend whenever you try a peated whiskey, take a sip first, set it down, and then walk away and let it aerate, because that's going to get you a little more acclimated to the peat. Mm-hmm. First one's going to be terrible.
It's like getting in a cold pool.
Yeah, you jump in and you suffer for a little bit, but then you come back to it.
Yeah.
And it makes world's difference. Second sip after the water. I'm never drinking out of these glasses again. These glasses, they don't do justice on the nose, but on something so heavy-handed in the peat, you're not gonna if you're not at that level where you can dig past it.
I feel like I ate the whole Isle of Skye, or the whole Isle
of Bog.
Of Bog.
You get so much earthy, and this is one of my favorites because it's not a sweet whiskey. It's a delightful. Delightful is probably the word. It's a rich, earthy, smoky. This is for me going out in the woods.
Yeah.
Having a drink, sitting next to the campfire.
If you're sitting next to a campfire, this is probably the perfect addition.
I agree. This is going out, hunting, fishing, hanging out with friends in the woods.
Because you will not know the difference between this and the smoke in your face.
Oh, no, yeah. This is, I just picked up a piece of wood out of the fire and chewed on it a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're not careful. Now, there is.
But if you're the manly of men, this is what you would do. Guaranteed, hands down.
This is the one you break out for your friends who are like, "Oh yeah, I love alcohol.
I like alcohol. Yeah, okay, please try this."
This is a game changer for a lot of people. Now, again, some people love this, and there is a very strong following behind Ardbeg, and they are a wonderful, wonderful whiskey, and I really enjoy it. Now, the distillery has had its ups and downs and ups again. So, the Ardbeg distillery was established in 1815.
It's old.
It was sold in 1838, sold in 1922, sold in 1977, closed in 1981, reopened in 1987, closed again in 1991, and was last reopened in 1997.
Wow.
Now, this has gone on to be an award-winning Scotch after that, but it has gone up and down and up again.
Really struggled.
Take a look at the website. They have a wonderful history
people
section.
Talk about a luck of the Irish. I think the Scotch, they got the worst end of the deal on most of the stuff.
Yeah, all the luck went to the Irish, and these guys struggled for
but
ups
you know
and
what?
downs. But
it's like its own Braveheart. I mean, they struggled, they fought, and they're here today, and it's a beautiful, beautiful.
It is a very, very abrasive. It's very in your face.
It's still on my palate.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll get rid of this taste.
Don't kiss your wife afterwards if you don't smoke cigarettes, because she'll accuse you of it. Mine does every time.
You smoking?
Yeah, I don't smoke. I've never smoked, and she's gonna accuse me of it as soon as I go and kiss her. This is, like I said, this is not my favorite
And
Isla.
if you are a smoker, it'll probably taste like water.
This is not my favorite Isla, but is one of my favorite Islas.
It's pretty interesting. I like the bottle. So let me ask you a question on this. It looks like, I mean, the glasses are green. This bottle's green, but I can kind of see through it. It's got, a color to it. Is this one of those ones where it's not really aged at all, too long to get the darkness, the color? Is it probably more clear?
Let's see if it has an age statement. Or it does have an age statement. It's 10 years.
10 years.
So the age is going to bring out a lot of color. They probably don't add any color.
Right.
I spaced there for a second, obviously. See, call me out on my crap, because that totally, I don't even know why I asked that. It's Ardbeg 10 year. But so the color, the reason for the darker bottles is, again, it's to cut the light. It's to cut the heat. It's to make it, that actually is real heavy with beer.
Right.
If you'll notice, most beer bottles are dark
color,
and they have tall cardboard. That's to get light out, to keep it more pure.
Right.
The light and the heat affect it. So that's the reason for the tints. I'm assuming they went with green as a color. By the way, guys, I'm colorblind. That's why I don't do bottle descriptions. Not my thing. Being honest, I'm blue-green or red-green deficient, and it all looks the same to me. So I avoid the color descriptions. I'm assuming they just went with green for their color. They just picked a color, I guess.
Peat moss, maybe.
I'm sure it's an earth tone. It's an earthy whiskey, so that sounds good to me. Again, if you're not adventurous, don't drink this. If you're not willing to pick it up time and time again, knowing that you might not like it, don't get this.
Yeah, definitely.
This is. I told you guys I wanted to throw a curveball in. This is. And again, this is a whole nother region. It is powerful.
This is that curveball. I don't think I'll ever drink it with water again. And the only reason it's so strong, it just like...
My thing is if I start drinking this, I can't go to anything else for the rest of the week.
No,
I'm going to drink this for a week.
It's still on my palate. I feel like I'm sucking on a piece of coal from a campfire.
You can go brush your teeth and it's not going to help.
No, it's there.
You're just going to get more menthol.
Let's go camping. I mean, yeah.
I know, right? Hey, you got the camper. Let's go.
Let's go.
I got plenty of hammocks. We'll be all right.
I love it. All
right, guys.
Guys, it's been great. Check us out on our next one. Thank you so much, Lane, for bringing this one. We really enjoyed it. If y'all have any questions, please leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and keep us in your podcast. Take care. Over and out.